Hey everybody, in today's video we are going to be reviewing the New Balance 1080 version 14. Come check it out. Jump right in. I want to start with the details of the shoe, talking a little bit about the weight and how the shoe is designed, and then we're going to go into some positives and some drawbacks of the shoe. I'll also share some insight into my first run in the shoe and also my second run. So going into the just initial details of the shoe, we have a 6mm drop. That's pretty consistent amongst 1080 models. This is coming in at 10.5 ounces for a standard size 9. So if you look at the past 1080s, this is gonna come in at a little heavier than previous 1080s. Specifically, it's probably because there's a little more rubber outsole, which is probably one of my most favorite positives of the shoe. As in previous models, for example, the 13, I found myself burning through the rubber outsole really quickly if you're on a lot of concrete and asphalt. So I imagine the weight is probably coming from more rubber outsole, which is no biggie to me. This is a max cushion shoe. So max cushion, similar to Clifton's, similar to a lot of Hoka models. Brooks is coming out with a Ghost Max and a Glycerin Max. A lot of those shoes are going to be built for easy mileage, recovery, long runs. They're kind of built to handle a lot of mileage and protect the legs. As we go into some more details, they continue to innovate on the Fresh Foam X technology. Personally, I think this is the most plush max shoe that you're going to find out there. I've worn Clifton's, I've worn Rincons, I've worn Brooks Glycerin Max and Brooks Ghost Max, and I found this Fresh Foam technology to be the most plush, which I just enjoy. I find myself running on a lot of asphalt and concrete where I live, and if you're someone that's putting in a lot of miles or you're working on your feet, you want something that's going to keep the legs fresh. And so that's exactly what this technology does. And so that's just some details of the shoe. 10.5 in terms of the weight, 6mm drop. So it is a little bit heavier of a shoe, but now let's jump into some positives of the shoe, and then we'll jump into some negatives. Jump into the positives of the 1080. I want to first talk about comfort. Since I've worn the 1080s all the way back to version 8, I've found myself not wanting to go into the closet to put on other shoes for any other occasion because of just how comfortable the shoe is. So they've continued to do such a good job of the Fresh Foam X technology through the years. I think it's pretty cool that you can even see in the tongue. I don't know if you can see it, but across multiple years, they've continued to innovate this technology to make sure that it is plush, that it is comfortable, and that it is good fitting shoe. So New Balance is such a good just industry leader in terms of comfort, in terms of making shoes that fit true to size and just fit snug. They don't feel like a bunch of extra rubbers on your feet. So they continue to do a great job with that. Number 2 is versatility. So often with max cushion shoes, it's designed to be great for one thing, whether that's easy runs, long runs. Typically that's what it is, mileage hog type activities, long runs, and easy runs of sorts. But the 1080 is, just because of how it's designed, I think it gives a nice pushback to you. You kind of have a good rocker technology. I think they've just designed the shoe in terms of fit and the snugness of the shoe that I think you can run faster workouts in these. You can do faster long runs in these. You can kind of do a wide variety of easy runs, hard runs, long runs, workouts, etc. So the versatility of the shoe brings a ton of value, just because so often a shoe is designed one way and it's not very versatile across a variety of workout types. Lastly, I think New Balance does such a good job of the aesthetic appeal. White's my favorite. I know it doesn't last long. I already got black staining right here from one run in the rain this morning, but continuing to do just an awesome job on the aesthetic appeal. So it can go great with outfits of all sorts, whether casual or running outfits. So continue to do great work in terms of the design, in terms of all the good stuff with the shoe. Now we're going to jump into some negatives of the shoe, and we'll also talk about how I felt on the run. We move on to the negatives of the shoe. I want to first talk about the weight. This is coming in a little bit heavier, almost an ounce heavier than previous models. Specifically, that is because they've enhanced the rubber outsole So they found where our runners usually burning down the most rubber outsole on a run, and they actually added additional layers. So this can be seen as a negative, but in my books, I'm gonna say it's actually a positive, purely because I, in previous models, found myself going through the shoe really quickly. I think I had 4 pairs of the version 13, simply because I've been running on a lot of concrete and asphalt, and I was burning down this back part right here and also this forefoot part. So you can kind of tell that they're adding a little additional rubber. I don't know if it's specifically you can see on the video, but they have done that. They've added more rubber outsole, which I'm hopeful will offset just the cost, because this is also a second negative. It's just a higher price point. And that's not just New Balance. That's not just the 1080. That's across the industry. The industry is having to raise prices, and this is coming in at $165 for retail. So it is on the pricier end. And I'm hopeful that with this rubber outsole, it's going to give maybe 25 to 35% more life, more miles, more time that I can continue to log miles on a pair of shoes before I'm having to go to the next pair, simply because of how the rubber outsole burns down. So in terms of negatives, I'm going to say they're kind of positive negative in terms of the rubber outsole adding an additional little bit of weight. Some people have said this is a little too snug and they've wanted to go up a size. Personally, I think when you break the shoe in, you're going to kind of end up pushing down some of this fresh foam just because it's so plush. It's going to allow you to have more wiggle room with your toes and your foot. And I do prefer something that feels snug and something that doesn't feel like I'm dragging extra weight, or something that doesn't feel really attached well to my foot. So that's just some cons of the shoe. I also, not least, I want to share just 8 miles I did with this shoe fresh out of the box this morning. And again, I was so happy with how New Balance has kept the integrity of the shoe. They've kept continuing to improve on the Fresh Foam X technology. You know you're going to get that plush response. You know you're going to get a comfortable, great fitting shoe that's snug, that doesn't feel too tight in one area and too loose in another. So I'm super excited to put miles in the shoe, specifically as they've added a couple different layers of rubber outsole to some spots that they knew runners were burning down, like me, and going through a ton of pairs. So I'm super excited for the shoe. It's a great, beautiful looking shoe. I do like this back 1080 signature design. I like this bottom durability, and I will keep you guys updated in how the shoe does over the next couple 100 miles. Thank you for watching, and we'll see you in the next one. Bye.